right now is Jason Chlup of LOM. Welcome to the studio, Jason. This is our first chat.
Morning, Shelly.
But I know you're pretty much, our listeners are used to listening to you talk about the amazing services that you can get from LOM, and it's all about what you do with your money and having your money hopefully make some money for you. So welcome this morning. What has been happening at LOM? Anything new since the last time here at Ocean 89, Jason? I know you're often in here with the captain, I think at least once a month or so. So what do we want to let our listeners know about this morning?
Well, yes, thanks for having us again, and we do try and come in and, as I said from my first interview here with the captain, I like to try and help create financial awareness, especially on island where, I think there's a need for a push for that.
Sure.
So at LOM, we've got some new exciting things, I think, coming in the new year. I think when the time's right, I will elaborate on that more.
On what those products are, yes?
Yes, but people may have been seeing on social media, in LinkedIn and on Instagram and Facebook, that we have been our marketing team's been doing a great job by getting us out there, putting our name out there, introducing myself and some of my colleagues, to the viewers out there, just to create awareness that we are there and that we're able to assist with your finances and investing and guide you where needed. And there's also been another campaign with just a bit of tips and guidance on how to get started.
Sure.
Things to consider, and this is very important, especially to the listeners out there that are sitting on some funds where they may be scared or worried or unsure, and just want to understand how to make the first step, and that's with a company
we do hear a lot here. Of course, we have great news coverage and the major networks from over in Britain and Europe and also in the U.S., and we hear things about the Federal Reserve and what they're doing over there in the U.S. We hear about inflation. Should it be up or down? Jobs are doing well now, but inflation is up. Is it good to borrow? Is it not good to borrow? All of that stuff goes on, and of course technology as well. Should you invest in startups and things like that? So what do we need to say to our listeners this morning about all this information that they're getting?
Well, just a little bit of a quick update on what's been happening. I think last time we were here, one of my asset management team, Peter, he was here with me, and he was, basically giving an opinion on what we thought the Fed was going to do. And we were correct with that by saying that we thought they were going to pause. They did pause, which seems to have created a bit of a spark in the market to get it going the other way. And the inflation numbers that came in pretty mild, that was a good indication well. So November has seen quite a recovery in the market. I think since the end of July, the market lost about 10%. If you look at the S&P 500, and that's now in the last couple of weeks or 3 weeks, basically recovered all of that. The market's about 18% up for the year to date. So that's there are some positive signs. I know a lot of people keep thinking that there's a lot of negativity out there, and but there are positives.
And the thing to do is to just be patient. And listen to your advisors about pausing or waiting with your investments and not wanting to opt out quickly because things have started to get a little slippery. So it's good to know that the recovery is happening.
Correct. So especially in the tech sector, I mean. Look, at the moment, and I've mentioned it a few times, there's that Magnificent Seven, which is the biggest 7 stocks in the market that are kind of running the market. That's the tech sector specifically. They run a large portion of the market. So we always speak about having a diversified portfolio and making sure that your advisor is helping you with that, because for example, that tech sector at the moment, the general tech sector is up about 50% for the year.
Wow.
But with that sector being so large at the moment, the top 5 or 6 stocks in that Magnificent Seven account for about 25% of the market. So when they
that's a quarter of the whole market.
It moves the whole market.
Yes.
And that's why we say, you got to be a little bit careful of the bad news and the good news, because
Gotcha.
because all the good news this year at the moment is maybe not broadly across the market. It's specifically to this so-called Magnificent Seven that is creating the up across the market.
So, what are the options? What changes should people be doing with their investments, or should they be changing?
Well, it may be. There are options out there, and again, that's why we say reach out to us, have discussions, let us understand what you're looking for. So maybe like a more conservative investor at the moment will be looking towards the bond market.
And there's some sort of guarantee with bonds. Is that how that works?
Well, look, bonds are on a rating scale.
Gotcha.
So typically, like your treasury bonds would be, or your government bonds from the US, the treasuries are very highly rated. That's why it was important that earlier in the year, when they were speaking about the debt ceiling, that the US didn't default on their debt to keep up a good rating. So with ratings or bonds that have good ratings like that, you know that the credit worthiness is a lot better.
Gotcha.
So that makes somebody who's conservative, more comfortable with investing in that. And the only downside of that is the more or the less risk that's involved, the return might be a little bit lower. It's not quite as high.
Yes.
So that's why, where there's a little bit more risk, you're looking at a
higher
better return. But the conservative investor may be looking towards the bond market at the moment, and this is because while we believe that the interest rates are probably reaching their peak, there may be one more increase to go. We'll see how that pans out over the next couple of months. But if the interest rates are reaching their peak, this is where bonds are now at their highest
return level.
Yes.
So it makes a little bit of sense.
It could make a bit sense to lock yourself in for if that's what you're in the market for.
Sure.
And again, it's personalized to each individual.
If you have the time to let them sit in a bond market.
So if you have that time and you want to let it sit, and you're happy to get that X percentage for a year or 2 or 3 or 5.
Gotcha.
That's maybe something that people could be looking at the moment. I mean, if you're looking at treasury bonds at the moment, you could get a 1-year bond at about 5.2%, a 2-year bond at about 4.8%, and a 5-year bond at about 4.4%. If you're looking more to, and that's treasuries.
Treasuries, yeah.
If you're looking more to a corporate bond, you could see a more shorter term bond at like a year for around 6%. So those are good returns.
They are good returns
for investment grade bonds, and we speak about investment grade where we would recommend that those are renowned corporations that are offering this debt.
And it's about trustworthiness at times too. So obviously you guys know who has the best ratings when it comes to things like that, and what the best advice should be. So we're almost at the end of the year, Jason. Can you believe that?
Yes,
I'm sure
it's gone by so
your
fast.
year has gone by like that, because the volatility in the markets, I'm sure, has made days just disappear in your life. So 2023, how has it been? How is the market right now?
Well, I mentioned a little bit earlier, we're about 18% up on the S&P on the general market. However, we have been through some up and downs.
Yes.
There was some downs in March when there was a bit of a banking crisis.
Yep.
There was some downs after July for the last 3 months. But this always pulls back to what we keep saying. It's about time in the market and not trying to time the market.
Exactly.
Yes,
Patience.
if you are lucky enough and at the right time, like let's say about a month ago, you had some money available and you saw the dip and you were aware, maybe you were chatting to your advisor, you would have said, look,
let's invest.
In my previous conversations here with the captain, that's when I said, these are opportunities in the market where a dip, yes, might be a bit scary for some people, but it's also an opportunity for other people, and that's why when you have some extra money, you could either double down, what people like to refer to sometimes, or get started, or
or just add to your portfolio.
Yes,
at that time.
Give that opportunity. Diversify a bit more, and get excited about that.
Yeah.
With December approaching, some people are going to be getting their salary,
annual bonuses and stuff.
Annual bonuses, things like that. So you may need to do a bit more planning towards the end of the year. We often speak about like doing a bit of a budget, understanding where you are financially, making sure that you don't overextend yourself, but stay the course with your investments. So if you've committed to do, you know, X amount per month or per quarter or something like that, or when your bonus comes in,
to your plan.
Yeah, stick to that plan. If you're getting that annual bonus, you know, the percentage that you had in mind, you know, try and stick to that.
Stick to it, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the consistency is key. Be patient. Keep adding to that investment, because you will reap the benefit over time.
Don't be impulsive with that, with all that shopping, right? That's a good piece of advice.
Yes, with Black Friday coming up.
I was just going to say, but Black Friday's around the corner. So, what are the opportunities for folks with from a financial point of view with Black Friday coming?
Well, Black Friday, you know, it maybe doesn't have too much to do with investing, but it's important to know again what I just mentioned. Don't overextend yourself. Don't spend
it if you haven't earned it yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I learned that from my grandmother, Jason. Just so you know, and I have lived by that principle. I haven't been a huge buy on credit person my whole life because of that. So I think that's a very sage piece of advice there.
Well, with the negative side of the high interest rates at the moment, that means that debt is expensive.
It is expensive, yes.
So if you're spending money that you don't have, you know, these are the times that it's going to put more pressure on you.
It's going to pile up.
So, you know, you need to maybe look at Black Friday as the opportunity, if you're in the market already for something, that maybe now you can get it at a discount or a lower price, so that's a bonus.
That's a good thing.
But don't necessarily think, it's Black Friday now, I need to go out and buy something.
I must buy everything. And just because it's on sale, right?
Exactly. You know, it's that old trick where they say, you know, if you buy two, get an extra discount or things. Meanwhile, you were only planning on buying one, but now you've spent double the
amount of money. Like we said, debt is expensive, folks. So avoid buying on credit this time. I think is a good piece of advice. If you have, you know, planned for something, like you said, maybe it's a good time. You can get a good deal on something, and but just be careful, because you know, things aren't always what they seem when it comes to deals, especially online shopping offers and stuff like that. So do be careful out there. It is, you know, the festive season is coming, but maybe consider getting that, you know, a treasury bond or something for a young person as a gift, perhaps, is the time to do it, and have it sit there, or certain time deposits for certain investments are a good idea, because it is the gift giving season, and that is the gift that keeps on giving, right?
That's what we like to, or how we like to look at it. And that's why we say, you know, we do offer, you know, family investing, or it's generational wealth is what we're trying to create. So, you know, if you do want to open an account or get involved with investing, even if it's maybe for a child, a grandchild, you know, something like that, reach out to us. Let's help you get started. Let's help you understand what's out there and where we can assist.
This is the type of thing that can, you know, be rolled over for periods of time, and could end up being, you know, a nice financial plus for when, you know, further education comes along later in life for your child and things like that. So we want everybody to perhaps consider that. If you're a new parent or if you're a new grandparent, this is the type of thing that you need to come and talk to folks like Jason and his fellow LOM employees to think about the future, not just the immediate. So contacting you guys, what's the best way to do that?
Best way is usually through the website. It's easy to also just get on there, LOM.com. You know, have a look around, see a bit of what we offer, have a bit of an understanding. It's always good to do your own research. So, you know, that helps spark the conversation. But yes, our website, LOM.com. Alternatively, you can call us on our main line. That's 292-5000. You can just ask for Jason. That's 292-5000. Reach out to us. Let's see how we can help you if you're getting started, or if you're a seasoned investor that's just looking for a platform to do the investing. That's what we're here for. Consultations are obligation free at absolutely no cost. So even if you just want to reach out and get a feel for what's out there, and maybe you know you're interested in getting started.
Yep, and for young people considering what you do for a career, it's good to know from a young age exactly what it is that LOM and companies like you do. So anyone who's walking that path should definitely try to understand some of the things that Jason and I have been talking about this morning. So the best way to do it is to make that phone call, write that email, ask for what you want, have that consultation. And you just never know where it's going to lead. But you will certainly know that you are in the best hands when it comes to understanding the ins and outs of investing here in Bermuda and internationally. So, Jason Chlup, thank you so much for joining us this morning. LOM, LOM.com. They're easy to find, 292-5000. Ask for Jason, like he said. What do we want to leave our listeners with before you go, my friend? Happy Thanksgiving, of course, right?
Definitely, that's what I was going to say. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Sure.
I hope you enjoy the season. And yeah, I'll see you guys, or you'll hear me next month, hopefully.
For sure. Absolutely. Thank you for coming, Jason. Pleasure to meet you. And thanks for all the hard work you're doing here to encourage people to not just think about week to week and what their earnings are, but to think about investing and creating, like you said, the generational wealth that we should seek for those coming up behind us, perhaps. And don't be tempted with Black Friday spending. Don't spend it if you haven't made it yet, right? Thanks, my friend.
Thanks, Shelly. Thanks for having me. As always, it's a pleasure.
Good stuff. Can't say you didn't know, because we just told you all about it. You're tuned to Ocean 89.